One question, an amazing lineup of CEOs, founders, and experts. This is Marketing for the Now.
Super excited.
Can you hear me? You're 50th.
Thank you so much.
That made me feel.
Thanks for having me.
I love how both realize if you're back.
So glad to be
You, who you really
Marketing for Now.
Thank you. 3 years old. I think we're walking and maybe even like consuming harder foods. So we're really happy over here. Winnie, let's go right into it. When you hear of the power of community, give it, I was thrilled that you were going to be on. I grew up as a retailer first, and so much of the way I think about marketing comes from a lens of retail. For you, when you hear power of community, where does that take you? Like what's something worth sharing? What was interesting to you, or maybe even something that you started off your career not realizing and now is like a major belief?
Gary, I think community is actually everything. And I think it's everything today as we look at what it takes to be meaningful and authentic as a brand. In the old days of fashion retail, you could basically tell people what to wear and which tribe they were going to be part of. And today, customers and we as people really want our brands to speak culture, and we want them to communicate a sense of belonging. And I think you said something earlier about an emotional connection, and that is absolutely spot on. And the journey that I've been on with Forever 21 since I started, a little over a year ago, is tapping into how do we unleash the power of this brand and go beyond traditional retail and fast fashion and move into a dialogue with the customer that is authentic and creates a sense of belonging and community. And for us, I think that when we go to the heart of what we've been to Gen X, millennials and Gen Z, we are really an ally in their journey for self-expression. Fashion is a means to self-express. And so how do we actually open ourselves up and become that, as opposed to just another place in the mall where you buy cheap and cheerful things? Right. And so that's the journey we've been on. And when I think about community, it didn't go far. Like I started and I walked into this amazing community at Forever 21 of creators, designers, makers, and honestly, true creatives that brought these ideas to me. And I said, let's just make it happen. Let's empower you to do this. Last year, we had employees who wanted to celebrate their own Latin heritage. And they brought together a collection. We did not sanction it. We did not say, hey, go make this happen. They came up with it. They came up with a beautiful collection. They created the product. They shot the campaign, and they went out and talked about what it is to be a creator and a creative within Forever 21. And we got such a massive response from our customers because they could also see themselves reflected in our employees.
There was a level of authenticity that is just very hard to replicate in other environments. Couple house calling things. One, it is not my actual birthday. It is Marketing for the Now's third birthday of the show, but I really appreciate everyone who's leaving a comment. Speaking of which, if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, your comments are streaming here heavily. A lot of you have not said hello yet, so a quick one. Please leave a comment right now if you're watching the show of where you physically are in the world, city and state. Back to Winnie. Winnie, you came in about a year ago, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about walking into challenging environments and trying to harness community. I have a lot of empathy as an operator to the retail environment that you're walking into, the state of the economy, right?
Absolutely.
What is a leader at the highest level? Obviously, the show has a lot of CMOs, but we have a high percentage of CEOs. There's a whole different game that you have to play than our fellow CMOs here. Really, the buck stops with you. It's all on you, every aspect. How do you look at community as, potentially a trigger to accelerate some of the vulnerabilities or opportunities? And do you, and really even maybe to just go completely left field, because I think a lot of people will get a lot of value out of this.
Yep.
When you walk into a new situation during tough times, you're a wartime general, not a peacetime general.
Yes.
What's the process to audit the opportunity?
I think I think that the first thing is to lead with curiosity. And for me, it is the curiosity is both within the company in terms of what does our culture value, who's sitting there as our employees, what are they talking about, what is relevant to them. And then for us, the journey we've been on is to turn the paradigm upside down and say, I'm actually at the very bottom of the pyramid and our customers at the very top. So when you are with a fashion company, you often just focus on the trends that are out there. And instead of really stepping back and saying, what are our customers saying? What do they care about? What are they passionate about? And how do we enter into an authentic dialogue with them? And so for me, actually, never waste a crisis. You know, if there's macroeconomic headwind, let's really dig in and turn up our curiosity around why our customers ascribe to us. What is their sense of belonging and community? And again, for us, it was hitting that finer point, especially with our youngest customers out there, Gen Z. They really wake up, you know, rocking Y2K fashion, and they may go to bed rocking preppy or goth. They express themselves through so many different dimensions. And that really is the language of fashion that we speak. How do we lean into that? How do we go even further? And so for us this year, it is how do we build natural connections with them and quote, meet them where they are, end quote. That is what I say all the time. Meet them where they are. Don't superimpose. So for us this year, we launched an amazing partnership, for instance, with Rolling Loud. So the largest hip hop festival in the world. And instead of just being another sponsor, right, and with another pop-up, I think the question for us was, how do we activate? How do we activate with the founders? And how do we do things that are genuine and fun and interesting? So those are some of the steps that we've taken to really like bring this to fruition, and leading with curiosity, getting super curious about the customer, leaning into their culture and getting involved.
You know, it's funny. I saw the Rolling Loud thing. I've known Tarek and the crew for a decade from when they were doing tiny shows. I've always been a fan. And I think you bring up a really interesting point that is enormous in fashion, and I believe is not being used enough in other consumer products, which is the power of the collaboration of communities.
Yes.
When I saw that from afar, I was like, that's a nice win for both audiences. I think it gives a cool factor for F21. I think F21 brought a lot of new awareness to Rolling Loud. I call those collaborations a 1 + 1 = 11.
Love,
right?
love.
And so I think that that was really really well done. With 2 minutes left, are there other community collaborations you're thinking about? And is there a scenario of too many, or is there not? Because in reality, these are niche micro communities, and a lot of times they're not even, I mean, 90% of the people that are watching this right now might have never even heard of Rolling Loud. So right. You can still do something with Great Adventure. You can still do something with BMW or Bose headsets or Hershey's. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it goes back, Gary, to who's your customer and what do they care about? And it may be micro for the rest of the world, but super important for them. And so, you know, just along those lines, we're doing stuff that doesn't necessarily print money to really engage in community. For instance, our partnership with Shop City and Roblox.
Yep.
You know, for the youngest Gen Z customer, they start at age 9. They spend as much time in the metaverse as they do in real life. And Roblox has 47 million players, you know, and people are active in the community, many of which are super young, below the age of 16. So what do? We show up where they are. Again, meet them authentically, create a sense of belonging. And for us, you know, that opportunity of being in Shop Sitting and having creators create their own Forever 21 has been amazing. Bringing bigger brands like Barbie into that community last year was amazing. We're doing it again this year with Barbie, with the collaboration we're doing with them. So this is a clear win-win-win where 1 + 1 does equal 3. And again, you kind of harvest an opportunity for the future. Like if I get any type of awareness and resonance and connectivity with a 9-year-old today, think about what they could be for us tomorrow.
I think about it every day. Winnie, thank you so much for the value you brought today. Have the best week.